Hello everyone, and here we are. So I had just finished recording this. I didn't realize that the video I had made was almost an hour because I was going over everyone's comments that commented yesterday. And I've decided to condense it down because I'm not interested in drawing this out and I want people to get my main points. So Fat Sapphic Bro has in fact blocked me. There was a not this one. So if we look here, we don't see a post just by them. But if we go newest first and scroll down, all the way down, we see that they actually had a comment. I didn't notice this until this morning. I'm going to go ahead and read this out to you, but I'm not going to reply to it because to me it just seems like they're throwing a temper tantrum. Soliloquy says, "You've been removed from my followers intentionally. You don't just speak against fat acceptance, you also lie profusely about the people you feature here, including me. You make a lot of truly asinine assumptions and speak on things you know nothing about. Chronic pain for one. Stay off my page and stop making videos about me. You're reaching stalker levels. Your page is truly creepy and filled with red flags. Get a therapist and work on why you feel the need to anonymously," and for some reason anonymously is in quotes, "talk shit about people and things you know nothing about. Literally, your obsession with us is beyond creepy and predatory. Stop." And then they follow that up with, "Literally, stop stalking me. It's literally harassment to make multiple accounts to stalk someone. Stop. Get help immediately." And this is part and parcel for what we see going through all of these comments. I have read each and every one of these comments. I have read each and every one of the replies to the comments. And after the vast majority of you were for refollowing, making a second account, making it seem a little bit more believable, and ultimately I've decided that that crosses a line for me. I thought long and hard about this yesterday. I thought long and hard about how I want to conduct myself going forward, and I thought long and hard about what behaviors that I take part in now am I willing to stand behind in the future. What I feel that they're doing here is ultimately a big, gigantic social media temper tantrum. They say that I lie, they say I make asinine assumptions, and they say I speak to things that I know nothing about, and yet they don't cite anything from any of my commentary that would lend to this at all. They like to use highly socially consequential language such as stalking, creepy, and predatory, and obsessive. Like, they say obsession, but they mean it, but there's the connotation, of course, of that I am somehow obsessive. And it's a way of throwing a temper tantrum and invoking highly socially stigmatized language as a way to try to exert control over my actions going forward. And I'm not going to engage with this. If they have specific issues with something that I've said, then I will address it. And there was a mention of something that I will be addressing in this video, just for posterity's sake. There was several instances where they referred to, I think it was it under Lulu? It was under Batman. Harassment, stalking. So here, this is, they probably mentioned this about 3 times. The calling me lazy and saying all I did in a day was my hair is not critiquing, it's harassment, and bypassing a block according to community guidelines is harassment. I wasn't bypassing a block at this point. This was something that I just had free access to. And what they're referring to, this is, even if I'm just voicing my opinion here, it's not harassment, it's my opinion on your actions. Drink of water. So I watched this really thinking I would get an idea of what they do all day, but all we saw was them doing their hair and jiggling their various fat body parts. And I'm a little bit like, so do you just not really do anything all day? And it says normal day, a day in the life, and you just did your hair and admired yourself and jiggled various body parts. Like, that so does not help anything with people who think that you're lazy and do nothing, because so far you've just shown that you just do nothing. Thoughts on their day in the life. So Fantastic Bro tried to say this was a get ready with me, but it's all been tagged as a day in the life. I did not call them lazy for doing their hair. I said that I was basically giving my opinion on the optics that this creates. But I want everyone to have full context of what I said. Ultimately, what I've decided going forward is I'm not going to create a second account because it crosses a line for me. It crosses a line of deception. There's a lot of planning and being aware of how I am behaving like within that account to make sure I can still fly under the radar, and it just takes the deception level to an extent that I am not comfortable with. They have blocked me. That is their right. The one thing that I will say is, should they show themselves in the public space and not have their account private, have their account public, I am okay with covering that. That, to me, that's essentially going out into a park and getting on your soapbox. And that I still feel like I am reasonable in responding to it under those circumstances. Their account is right now private. If I should log in and if I should come on one day and their account is public, then I feel fine responding to it. I am not comfortable making a separate account to try to trick them essentially into believing that I am an ally in order to cover their content. It just crosses a line for me. It's where that's where what behavior I'm comfortable exhibiting ends. I'm not comfortable doing that. If it's public and anyone can access it, and going into a logout screen and being able to look at their account, and I can look at all of their stuff, fine. And if they end up deleting stuff, it is what it is. If they end up keeping certain videos private to where if you're following them, you could see it, that's just a loss I'm willing to take. This is where I am comfortable with my behavior. I want everyone to know that I read every single one of those comments. I just didn't want to respond to it right away because I spent a lot of time yesterday reflecting, what am I comfortable putting out there? What am I comfortable presenting as myself? And what behavior will I stand behind in the future? And this is what I came up with. I'm comfortable looking at their content from a public view. I screen record everything so I don't need to download what they put out there. I don't need another account. And this is the line I am comfortable broaching. But this is also the line that is the edge of the behavior that I'm okay with exhibiting. And this is what it will be for all of the Fat Acceptance creators going forward. I have a list of who I was following. I will continue to work through that list, and I'm going to be broaching everyone through a public page like this instead of through my account. And public is as public does, and what is public, and I will cover that as I have been. If it's private like this, I'm moving on, and I'm bowing out, unless and until they public their account again. And that is where we are. This was originally going to be a much longer video, but I did not want an hour of me going through comments before I actually got to my ultimate point. Hope that you guys believe me. I honestly have gone over all of your comments and weighed everything very heavily. And this is what I'm comfortable with going forward. If Soliloquy should end up in my comments later, if you feel the need to respond to them, feel free, but please don't feel obligated to on my behalf. If they are going to continue throwing temper tantrums in the comments, I am not going to engage. If they have something specifically that they feel I am lying about, or they feel is an assumption that is being made, and they want to address that specifically with a timestamp, I will engage with that. But otherwise, I am not engaging with them throwing out loaded language as a way to get a rise out of me. And it's just not worth it. So, thank you for all of your support. This is all that I'm going to post for this week. I have kind of a busy week ahead of me, so I'm just leaving it here. And I figure, why not end it with something positive? Although many of you probably won't care. But if you follow The Remarried Empress on Webtoons, I learned that is going to start posting again in May. And I'm so excited. And it coincides with the project that I'm doing, but I don't want to announce that in this video. So, and it's for a separate channel. But I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your opinions and your perspectives. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.